Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla. And today, I've really been thinking a lot about this recently. I've said it before, I know I've said it before on previous episodes, but it was probably a while back. So, don't, don't. I'm just going to reiterate kind of the whole thing. I think I want it to be a prevalent theme for this episode. That is, unless something else comes up and I end up feeling like talking about that more, as usual. I've mentioned before, and this is in no disrespect, because I'm not saying this to act like I'm better or anything like that, really. I personally have no hard feelings against my dad at all. I mean, I think all things considered, I can't complain. So it's, it doesn't really, I'm not really trying to single him out. I just kind of want to speak on broader trends I've noticed with, broadly speaking, older people. And again, my dad, honestly, one of the better people. I guess I just have the most experience with him, so. But yeah, trust me. And I mean, if my dad was ever watching this, things were good, and things are pretty. I seriously have nothing to really complain about. I think he's been a very good dad to me. Something I've noticed broadly with older people is that they don't seem to know much. And I wonder why this is the case. I don't know if it's because I've just grown up in the age of the internet. So to me, I've just been a maniac when it comes to knowledge absorption. I've always wanted to research things and learn things. I think out of anybody I know, as a matter of fact, I'm just into learning things more than anybody. And I mean, that's not really to toot my own horn or anything like that, because that has its downsides. There's a lot of times I've had issues with friendships when it comes to unsolicited advice that I had to learn about, even though I was never trying to give any. It's just that a lot of the things that I think about and am interested in and passionate about, and just information I know, is advice. Because I think I've said this before, my brain, that's just what there's problems in the world, let's look into how to fix them. So simple, right? And of course I've realized the complication with that, how a majority of humans, let me finish. How I actually think now, what I've come to realize, is a majority of humans, I think, have absolutely zero interest in even trying to figure out what's true. It does not seem like that is on anybody's radar, broadly speaking. I've never really met anybody who really cares for the truth, besides people who tend to be fairly argumentative. And those types have their own issues where they're aggressive, and they would usually call me out for being wrong when I wasn't. So I don't find a lot of people who really are that interested in learning. And I think that is just a huge differentiator. I mean, if you're someone who really wants to help people and wants to learn, I think that's probably one of the most important and valuable traits. I think it's the most special trait. And it's so complex. It's so complex when trying to navigate what is fair, what isn't fair, and sifting through all the nonsense that we're faced with on a regular basis when it comes to the truth and the politics of this way and that way. So many people think that this is the truth or that's the truth, or think that this is right or that's right or wrong. And I don't know. It doesn't seem like a lot of people really have a good grasp on it. Now, of course, I completely went off topic. What I was going to talk about, and I think this seems very strange, and I've mentioned it before, is that my communicative skills and my social battery seems superior to any adult I've ever talked to. I don't think I've talked to any adult or person who can talk as much as me, but more importantly, as much as me about the types of topics that I talk about. Meaning, I'm sure there's plenty of people who talk a lot, who are chatterboxes, but I'm going to be honest, and this is a bit stereotypical, and we could use AI to vet it. I probably will at some point. My impression is that the majority of people who occupy the chatterbox archetype are people who are generally a bit sillier. They're a bit more whimsical. They're a bit lighter. They have a bit more pizzazz or spice to themselves. And obviously there's a huge differentiator with that typical chatterbox stereotype of somebody who says nothing versus me, which is somebody who's a chatterbox where most of my thoughts and most of my speech are of substantive topics. And I just don't find that. I really don't find that. And I definitely don't see it in people my age. And I definitely don't see it. No. I know. I don't see it in older people, and I definitely don't see it in people my age. I mean, even doing the car rides with Schla, like, you guys realize, in addition to doing this, I also have to deal with social drama or family drama on top of this, on top of working 50-some hours a week. And I do it. It's very draining, and a lot of times things don't make any sense, and people don't even make any sense. And I'm kind of getting to why I believe that's the case. And it's really confusing to me because I guess I expect that adults at the stage they're at would just be better than me. And I want to also point out, too, to get this out of the way, I have no, and I mean zero, reason to be egotistical about this. I'm the type of person where I wanted my dad to validate things. I want to learn from older people. I want to have a mentor. That's how I've been wired my whole life. I don't like doing my own thing. I like going to people. I like asking people for help. A lot of times, I wasn't ever interested in paving my own path. And then, as I've gotten older, it just becomes more and more apparent that a lot of adults know less than I do already. Me as someone who's in their 20s, it just seems like they know less. And I think that's just kind of shocking. You know? I don't know what else to say about it. Because I think even now, I expect and look forward to somebody who is an adult to be able to give me good advice and to be able to have a reasonable conversation or discourse with them. And I'm not finding it. And I just feel like a lot of times I inevitably end up putting way more thought and care into it than most people. And I guess I just have more of a battery for it, more of a social battery. And we'll see as my life progresses. Because I think now what a lot of adults would say is that, well, being an adult has more responsibility, you're a lot more drained. Right now I don't have to deal with rent yet, etc., etc. I mean, people say that, but I really feel like with what I'm doing, I'm running at a high amplitude. Altitude. No, I don't even. I'm doing a lot, I've never heard of anybody, even who's an adult, pulling off what I'm pulling off. Nobody, I don't even know. And I was even thinking about recording more when I get home and starting to do more of those. I was going to do walk switch law just as a brief interjection here, but the UV index has been quite high, and I already get a lot of sun exposure, so that's why we haven't been doing walk switch law, because the shaded area is near a busy road, and that's where I walk during my breaks. And so I just don't know that makes any sense to record. I guess we could try it, but it seems like a risky idea to me. It doesn't sound very conducive to a good experience. That's my calculation about it. It doesn't seem like a great move to be by a road with a bunch of cars passing me while recording. So I think walk switch law will definitely amp up once the weather gets cooler and once the UV comes to a more normal level, for sure. Absolutely. I think I'm probably just going to start doing it. Maybe not every single day, and obviously if it's raining I won't, but I feel like I have to. I'm just trying to be at a high level. I don't know. And then maybe this is all a manic episode in a couple months. I won't even be doing it. No, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, if I was going to quit, I would have already quit, guys. I mean, I don't even get into that much about my personal life on here. That's the crazy part. If you guys knew the confusion, the drama, the inconsistency that I've had to deal with throughout this entire series while recording it, the instability. If only you knew. I mean, I purposely am keeping that stuff out of here for now. And I probably never will be public about it, but just know that I'm not some guy who goes home and relaxes after this. No, I have to deal with people. And there's not much time to, because I work a lot. So I don't really understand why that isn't more respected or, again, acknowledged or recognized, but isn't that all life really is? I'm just trying my best. I think so. I think that's something I was going to think about too. Am I really trying my best? Could I be better? Maybe, but I think we're getting pretty close. You could even say we're 80% there. And I don't even think most people are operating at 80%. If I had to guess, most people might not even hit 50. The way it seems like people operate, I'm not really sure. Rewinding to try to stay on topic. This whole issue with adults, and I don't know if it's a generational issue. I think it's a golden age issue. That's my honest opinion about things. I think that people from the golden age experienced life way too good, so that this modern living of the 2020s silver age is they just can't wrap their head around it. And so there's a lot of just super poor advice out there and all kinds of craziness. And it's just all crazy. You know what I mean? Sorry, that's no, I just think a lot of people have a really bad grasp on things. I think I notice in general people really have a very poor comprehension of math. I think we've talked about this before. In my opinion, if a person is not good at math, it's likely that their understanding of the world is poor. In terms of really being able to look at the world as the world. You could still be good at knowing people subjectively, but I just don't believe that. That if you're not somebody who can look at data and interpret it properly, or really understand, I mean, you'd be surprised the amount of people that don't even understand fractions or percentages that well. And there's just no way you can comprehend the world without statistics. I mean, you could be bad at math. I don't even think that, you don't even need to know addition or subtraction. I think it's more important that you would know statistics. So division. I think division is the most important one to know, easily. It's just the most relevant when it comes to comprehension of reality. Division, it's just the most important thing. So that's my take of the day. I don't even, you really, addition and subtraction, it'll get you somewhere, but it won't get you far. But if you know division, that's genius. If you know statistics, if you can look at a chart and a graph and really grasp it, that's the type of people we need in a liberal democracy. That's who we need. I actually think it's insane how cheerful I can be, like, despite, again, it's not even, because my situation's not bad. It's unpredictable, inconsistent, and turbulent in very strange, anxiety-inducing ways, but it's not bad. If you just take all that out of the equation, it's not bad. I know my life's better than a lot of people's, but it's just strange. I feel like I've dealt with a lot of confusion, and I wonder if that's just because of the way I interpret information and am interpreting what I'm going through. I mean, maybe life is chaotic and more people are just accustomed to chaos, and then they just don't notice it. And then I do notice it because my brain is OCD adjacent when it comes to time and math. Well, numbers really, but I would say time. I think time is my main thing that I'm obsessive about. And it's intrinsic too. I mean, I don't try to be. I just usually always aware of time. Did learn something interesting today. Apparently, tire noise is louder than the engine over 50 miles per hour, and that the weight of the car makes the tire noise louder. Interesting stuff, right? Because of like noise pollution in the city. That's, I think, what the topic in the video was. Just interesting little tidbit I'm randomly going to sprinkle in there. So what was my point? My point is I have not been given good advice by anybody. And I just think it's weird. And I think a lot of older people are incredibly out of touch. So it's honestly no surprise that we have a lot of the political, there's political ramifications for having the age of, but hey, I mean, it's because most people who vote are old. Young people don't bother to vote, so it's kind of manipulated in old people's favor. And I guess old people like to vote for old people. And old people also like to make the system cater to themselves because they're the largest voting bloc. Property owners, largest voting bloc. Actually, maybe. I'd have to double check that. I think homeowners are the largest voting bloc. I think more homeowners vote than renters. And so that's why renters' self-interest is consistently underrepresented. Regardless of which political party, but obviously Republicans would cater to homeowners a little bit more than Democrats, and I don't know. I mean, it's kind of tricky. I guess Democrats would cater to renters a little bit better, but they also cater to homeowners too, because again, that's like the largest voting bloc. So there's nobody's catering to renters. Renters don't vote. I think I think about what it would be like to rent. I'd have to bum it out in some like puny room. The problem is I've looked into it. A lot of those places don't have kitchens or anything like that. And I don't have to cook often, but I need to cook once a week. I've narrowed it down to that. So maybe I could make something work. But yeah, I only need a kitchen once a week. So it's possible I could get somewhere that's kind of cheap or something like that. I think I'm a lot more tolerant to it than many people. I do. But you know what? I should buy. I think I ended this morning's episode with this, if I'm not mistaken. I have way too much stuff. I don't know what went through my head, but I've always been a hoarder. I've always bought way too much stuff, and I don't know what I'm going to do when I move out. It's just like I don't even know what to do. I'm going to have to start selling stuff, as much as I hate doing that. I just went completely ballistic and overboard. I have way too much stuff. There's no business me having the amount of things that I have. It just doesn't. It's strange. It's deranged even. I would even say I've been deranged. Insane and deranged. I need to figure myself out, And that's why I'm hoping to kind of get it in gear, get back into being more practical. It's important. The whole being lavish thing it's not something I'm interested in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want nice things, but I have too many things, I still have my dreams of having a nice car or things like that, but that's just a car. Everybody has to have a car. I need to try to be more interested in minimalism, I think. I really think that at the end of the day, I'm kind of happier with that. As much as I love being a hoarder, it's kind of overstimulating, and since I don't have my own house, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because, I mean, it would be different if I had my own house. I wouldn't even need a big house, but I don't know. It's just weird. The whole situation's weird, I don't know how I let myself buy all that stuff, but I guess just working for the first time and, for the first year of working. And I kind of was, I think, a little bit too hard on myself for the first 6 months of working. So I only splurged. So yeah, I would say I splurged for a year. You know what? Not even a year. You know what? Because my splurge period was probably only from, I want to say, December to May. I don't even think I bought anything crazy in June or July. So that's not too bad. And now I'm trying to lock back in again. I don't think that's horrible. I think some people might still be splurgy in their first few years of working a job, And I don't know if I'll fall into that again, but I really hope I don't. Because I'm embarrassed at this point. Right? Like, it's embarrassing. But I'm hoping to figure myself out as the months go on, and hopefully I can sell some things and kind of try to figure out what I really need. I'm not looking forward to figuring out this computer thing. I did ask GPT, and I'm not really happy with the answers it gave. I hope it's nothing that serious as like a power supply issue or something like that, but I guess it could be. I'm hoping it's not a RAM issue. A lot of those things don't. It's such a silly, strange situation. And like I said, it could be the motherboard, which would be really annoying, as all this stuff, I just got it. I really am not in the mood to purchase a new thing, and I have some car rides with Schlas, I believe 2 episodes that I still have yet to schedule. And I forgot about that. I should have done it this morning, but I had forgotten that I still needed to schedule 2. And so I'm really hoping I can figure it out. I'm hoping it's not a big deal. And yeah, but it could seriously be a problem. It's just annoying, the computer stuff. I don't know. But I shouldn't have got that computer. That's one of the things I regret. I like it, but I'm scared. I'm scared that I overindulged and I can't maintain that. That's just honestly how I've been feeling. I guess I was just too confident about things. I mean, maybe I'm being too scarce now, but like I said, I guess all you can do is look forward. And I really, really do want to tone down the spending. I mean, I've said this multiple episodes at this point, that's really something I want to work on. And I don't think I've been particularly bad. I think that all things considered, I still have an okay amount of money for someone my age. I'm doing okay. So it is what it is, but I'm going to try even harder. I want to really just try super hard to make everything work out. I would just want to be even better. And I think the way I see it now, it's hard though, because I really get attached to the things I have. I don't want to get rid of them, but I just have so much stuff. And that's the tricky part, right? It's just weird. I don't know why I'm that weird. Traffic was very nice today. It is Tuesday, July 22nd. It was a nice ride home, honestly. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see how things go. I'm obviously still kind of upset with the poor performance of car rides with Schla, but I just can't imagine why this isn't taking off. I mean, it's really a shame, and it's strange to me, but I guess I'm not stopping. Like I'm not. I've said that, but like, there's no way I'm going to stop. I actually think that uploading it is probably the thing I'm not interested in. That's kind of the stuff that just seems kind of like, not a huge fan of having to do all the uploading stuff. But I guess at some point AI is going to be able to do that anyway. So I'm sure that's coming in the future. But ideally, I think I want a team of people who work on my stuff, and I would really like to be able to pay people, to do stuff. Because my passion's speaking, but My passion isn't editing videos. My passion is not uploading video. Well, nobody's passion is uploading videos, but I think it would be cool. Although I guess that is a little strange. Like, it'd have to be someone I trust, you know? It definitely would need to be somebody that I trust. Because you're handing over your content. I don't even know how I'd transfer it efficiently because it's obviously a lot of storage. I don't know what kind of file Actually, no. I know a friend who has good file transfer stuff set up. It's actually pretty easy. So, yep. Interesting stuff, guys. But yeah, I want to do that. I want to have a team, but we're just not there yet. I'm creating such a big library, though. I mean, one of these videos I gotta end up doing good on. This one, This video, But it's coming out better than I thought. I really, again, like I said, things have been kind of hard for me recently. I'm going through a lot. I'm trying hard, but I'm still not doing good enough, apparently, and I guess that just means I have to try harder. Side note, I need to get gas tomorrow. I was going to get it today, but I'm deciding to push it a little bit more just based on what I've heard. Because, yeah, it being there, it's like at 26% right now, probably. And I heard that, yeah, no, 1/4 is 20. So I don't know what I was doing before, because I was doing it at 25%. But I've really heard that 15% is the actual floor and that 25% was too high. So I'm going to start doing that. Like, let it ride a little lower, because in the long term it reduces the amount of stops and therefore transmission and entire car wear, because also the way I go to get gas is a different way. So it's more wear and tear on the car to go that way that I have to get the gas at. So it's worth trying to avoid it, for sure. So that's what I'm going to do. And I think that's more important than trying to be aggressive about the gas minimum thing. Because, again, 25%, I just think it's probably fine. And it's a newer car, too. Apparently it was more relevant with older cars. Possibly, though, in the winter, I may go back, because apparently it's worse then, but it's still something that really needs to be further vetted. And I have an interest in figuring out, I suppose. You know, it's just, I don't know. Is it even worth it? Is that what everybody's saying? Why do you even think about this stuff? Because it's real. I see it because it's real. And I think a lot of people just don't, stuff doesn't dawn on them, or I don't even know. Because I would get bored. I mean, after a while, I mean, when you're not trying to optimize every single tiny portion of your life, you don't even know what to do with yourself anymore. And that's all life really is looking at every little nook and cranny and trying to fix it. It's all life is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, right? So, it's all life really is, guys. Just keep your heads up. Try your best. And you will pass the test of life. Or at least that's what we want to think. I mean, I don't know. Nowadays, I don't think trying your best is going to work for much longer. Things are still getting worse. Everything's getting worse. I've already said my prediction. Things are just going to keep getting worse and worse, and they're going to end up basically just filtering people out. That's genuinely what I think is going to happen. people are just going to get filtered out. It's just going to be survival of the fittest. That is where society's at right now, right? I mean, it's a little crazy. It's potentially a little immoral. But I think we've talked about it where it's all... I think it's hard to say. I don't know. I think it's all difficult to say. But I don't know. My life, I mean, I don't know that I'd trade it, right? Some people probably would, but I think I would have. I wanted to trade it a lot when I was a kid. Like, I was just not happy with myself then. I think now I am. I think now I've kind of gotten to a point where I think in the future I will be. So yeah, basically, I'm still not super thrilled about my life, but I do see potential now. I'm not depressed about things. I have a little more hope, after going through what I went through. I have a little bit more hope. So that's good. Well, that about wraps it up, if I do say so myself. It's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.